Well, good morning. It is Monday, March 29th. March 29th's energy comes up first with the Two of Swords. With the Two of Swords upright, this card can represent difficult decisions today. Monday's a tough day to get started. Monday's the day where you're trying to push yourself out of bed to get back on your routine, to get things back in order, so to speak, and to get your mind kind of sorted out, your thoughts in your mind sorted out. So today, this card talks about difficult decisions. It also talks about weighing out your options. Also, it may be avoidance. So for some of you today, having these difficult decisions to make, maybe who to talk to, who not to talk to, what job to get done first, where to go first, how to handle certain things. Maybe it's about your bills, what bill needs to get paid first. For whatever reason, a lot of you are struggling with some very difficult decisions, whether you stay in this relationship or you move forward. For some of you, it's not even about love. For some of you, it's just about life in general. Do I stay where I'm at currently, or do I move? Do I find a different job? Do I stay in this house? Do I keep being friends with this person? Do I keep trying to make something work in a relationship that's not working? So for so many of you, it's so many different things that you're struggling with these difficult decisions, weighing out your options. Now, understand that the short card that I gave a short video for today also was a 2. That one was 2 of Wands. Now you have 2 of Swords. So the number 2 is very important for today. This card in reverse can talk about indecisions, confusion, information overload, like you're just hearing too much. You've learned too much, or somebody's talking too much. For some of you, it's also about a stalemate. Now, with the 2 of Swords, it's definitely showing that this woman's confused pretty much about her plight, and that she can neither, see through the problem nor the solution very clearly. She's not seeing it clearly. So you, he or she, are not seeing what the situation actually is very clearly. Also, you could be missing some relevant or very important information, which is why you can't get kind of the whole story, or something's not making sense to you. Now, the balance that's in this card can suggest that somebody's weighing their thoughts, trying to address both sides. Because when you look at the bird sitting on this pedestal here, or this perch, I should say, he's definitely balancing himself. He's definitely trying to be fair about something. But this picture also can talk about definitely weighing out their options, okay? Maybe addressing both sides of a situation. Somebody's trying to find the best resolution for everything. Now, question is, when you are able to see, again, there's 2 of everything here. Here's a panel, here's a panel, here's a panel, here's a panel. Okay, here's an animal, here's an animal. So there's definitely 2. Here's a knife, here's a knife. So you can definitely see there's 2 all over this picture. Somebody's going to have to consider the situation as a whole, not looking at each individual thing, but considering everything as a whole. It's almost like somebody needs to be able to trust in their intuition. Somebody is not listening to that inner guidance that you have. It's that gut-wrenching feeling. Some of you are choosing to manipulate your own mind into believing another story, something that may not have even happened, something that may not even be true. But your mind has gotten so caught up around it that it's really got you confused. The 2 of Swords also indicates that you are facing these challenges today and these decisions, but you are very unclear about which road, which option to take. It seems that both possibilities are equally good in a certain sense or equally bad, but you're stumped. And you're stumped about which way will lead you to the best outcome. You are thinking further down the road here. You're not just making instantaneous thoughts. You are trying to think for the near future. For some of you, you may be weighing out the pros and cons of each choice, and then you're going to make a very conscious judgment. But you got to use both your head and your mind and the intellect in your heart. That feeling, that intuition, that gut feeling, to be able to choose the path that is in most alignment with your higher self. So today's message is pretty much about how it's going to be helpful to be able to balance out, to not go so fast. Listen, I don't care what it is, who it is, and what's making you have to make this decision or this choice today. But whatever's going on today, somebody can wait a minute until you can figure or feel comfortable with the choice or decision that you're going to make. It is possible that this woman, or it could be a man or woman, with the Two of Swords, intentionally chose to put on a blindfold to avoid making a choice. The blindfold could be because she's not wanting, or he's not wanting, to deal with a challenging situation or impeding decision. Somebody's hoping that if you ignore it long enough, you won't need to worry about it. It'll just go away. Unfortunately, the issue is unlikely to resolve itself. And the longer you delay this, the longer that you will prolong the present situation. Yes, the Two of Swords can talk about indecision on an important matter. But again, you can only put it off for so long. At some point, you're going to have to make a move. The Two of Swords comes as a reminder that many of life's decisions are difficult ones and rarely come with clear-cut answers. The invitation is to make your choices with the best intentions. Be fully aware of all the possibilities and the consequences that will come with each choice. Avoidance will lead to greater conflict and stagnation, so use caution. Again, when this card is reversed, that suggests that you're facing the difficult decision. You cannot decide which direction to take. You're caught between a rock and a hard place right now. It can feel impossible to make the right decision. I get it. But you may also lack information, like I said before. Maybe that's the reason you're not able to make the choice or decision so easily. Because you don't have all the information, all the answers, all the details. Some of you, somebody's holding back information so that you will struggle with this thought. Just the same way as the blindfold. It closes off the external world so that you can be closed off to any additional information or alternative solutions that could resolve this dilemma. Or you might be experiencing, again, information overload, overwhelmed by other people's points of views. You might have asked too many people their opinion, and now you're so confused. You might have watched too many tarot readers, and now you've gotten so many answers you don't know what to do. Now you're really overwhelmed. You're worse than you were when you got started. You're worse than you were than before you got started. Because now you've watched so many people, you've gotten so many answers, and now you're so confused on how to make a decision here. I get it. I totally get it. And I'm sure other people do too. You're going to have to select something that's the most relevant and helpful toward you. The reversed Two of Swords is inviting you to listen Listen to your intuition. It's also talking about how you may need to cut off from the outside world temporarily so that you can hear. Just listen so you could hear your inner voice telling you what you need to do. That wisdom is going to come through. Trust what you know. Be true. Trust what you know to be true. What's right for you. Because what's right for you may not be right to somebody else. The Two of Swords reversed can also represent a stalemate, meaning that you may reach an impasse with a friend, a loved one, a colleague. The trouble is that the parties involved here are refusing to see the situation from the other person's perspective. This is why you're butting heads with somebody. You can't seem to get a balance. You can't seem to get somebody to understand your point of view. Excuse me. The only answer for this is to remove the blinders, which are creating boundaries. Look at the situation from a different angle. Look at it with a different type of thought in your mind. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to move forward. You're going to remain stuck. So you can't stay still anymore on this situation that you've been dealing with, this relationship, this job issue, these financial issues, whatever it is going on in your life right now. This card is here to tell you for today, for Monday, March 29th, that you can't keep staying still. You can't just wait for it to smooth over. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to make a choice or decision that's going to make sense for you. Again, feeling stuck, that's an awful feeling. It's a scary feeling, and you're about tired of it. You're exhausted with the situation. But you're definitely feeling stuck in the middle of two competing sides. But in doing so, all you're doing is confusing yourself and creating more tension. You may be attempting to bring two conflicting family members together in the hopes of fostering a harmonious family environment. But instead, you end up being the messenger or the dumping ground for each of their concerns. Decide whether honestly you have a role to play and whether you can create peace between the two opposing sides. Otherwise, get yourself out of that situation ASAP, because this is not serving you anymore. It's not helping. It is definitely not helping. So make a decision on whatever it is that you're trying to help out or bring together, or get two sides to understand something, or get your side and somebody else's side to balance out. This is not going to go very smoothly till somebody makes a choice or decision that has to be made. All right, so remember, today's card is definitely the Two of Swords, and this sword is talking about something in your life today that you're going to have to deal with, something that you're going to have to make a decision because you're not wanting to. You have the blindfold on because you really don't want to see what's going on. But at the same time, remember about the Swords card. Swords can always represent yourself and how you're feeling and how you've been feeling and what you've been going through. But it's important to know also that swords can talk about cutting something out that is no longer needed. So whatever the answer is for you today in your life, stop wasting time. Stop allowing what is not serving you to still stay. You're allowing something to rent space in your head that's not paying any rent. All they're doing is giving you some heartache or headache, confusion. They're delaying you from getting to your destiny. So let's move all the bullshit out of the way. Let's get rid of all the clutter. If we're in a hoarding situation, we've got to throw some shit out. We've got to do something to make progress. Otherwise, nothing's going to move, everything's going to stand still, and you're going to remain stuck. So you've got to make the decision to let's get things moving.